How do everybody? So we've got the election of Donald Trump currently underway, and I'm just here to give a quick prediction and maybe give some of my thought behind it. Obviously, I'm not an American, so I have absolutely no say whatsoever in this election. Although for me personally, I do believe that Donald Trump is going to win it, and I think it's quite obvious to anybody who's willing to actually look. Now, the biggest thing that I've noticed is the amount of media coverage for Donald Trump being not positive, but not negative in the way that it was last time. And when you compare this election cycle to the last election cycle in which he won in 2016, the entire system was against him last time. Whereas this time, I think we are starting to see other elites, uh, people of similar caliber to Donald Trump, sort of not so much rallying around him, but not allowing him to be castigated like he was last time. So, for example, Jeff Bezos, I believe it's the Washington Post he now owns. He's cleared out half of the journalists from there and the chief editor, replaced them, and he's put a lot of conservative journalists in there for various reasons. And he's written an article about a week ago in which he explained that so you're not gonna see the unified front of all the main of the larger newspapers, for example, now going against him. Now that doesn't mean that some newspapers won't, and I'm not talking about the rags. I'm not talking about the equivalents like the Huffington Post. I'm talking the top tier um, news proprietors. So like the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Telegraph and the Daily Mail in the UK. Those high profile papers, so to speak, which or like the Financial Times as well. Newspapers that elite people read. And with those papers as well, they've been saying very interesting questions. Like they've been asking, can Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump? And that the fact that the question is being asked that way around says a lot to me. Now, if the question was, can Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris, I'd say that the journalists feel that Trump's going to lose. So that reading to me as well also says that the powers that be have come to terms with the fact that Donald Trump's probably going to win this. And we're also seeing that the EU is bringing in preparation plans now for Donald Trump actually winning. So we're getting a lot of signals from various places to say that Donald Trump is going to win. But not just that, but it's the actual sheer optics of it as well. You've had years and years of these people saying that he's Hitler and he's going to bring around tyranny and blah blah blah. Everything else that they like to say about him. Well, he's been president before and he didn't bring that in. So a lot of those lies I don't think are going to be landing this time. But there's also been a lot of the public relations stuff that happened as well. So we've seen the recent thing with the squirrel, where the Democrat Party have supported the euthanization of that squirrel. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it that a squirrel can influence politics, but that's the world that we live in. Whereas Donald Trump's obviously been very sympathetic. That has played out incredibly well for him. We had Joe Biden referring to Donald Trump's voters as trash, and then Donald Trump turned up in Washington. I think it was the next day wearing a trash collector's uniform, driving a bin lorry. The optics of this, you can't make this up. And working in McDonald's and saying he worked in there for 15 minutes. He said, I've now worked 15 minutes more than Kamala Harris. After she's essentially lied about working in McDonald's. Now, that's not confirmed, but McDonald's have released a statement saying they have no record of her ever working for them, which basically is them saying she's never worked for them, in my opinion, anyway. So, and there's just been like the years of like the Russia Gate and the P Gate, and they've dragged him through the courts. I don't know how many times with the amount of lawfare. There's been a potential 3 attempts at assassinating him recently. All of these things just build up. Even like the mugshot of him. I mean, the amount of people who've had interactions with the police and have had mugshots taken of themselves, or they've got family members who've had mugshots taken of them, etc., etc. All these different things just resonate with so many different people in society. So this is basically why I feel that Donald Trump is going to end up winning this, because I just think the amount of things that have happened, just you'd be mad not to think he's going to win it. And that's not an endorsement of Donald Trump, although I do support him personally. It's just seeing the writing on the wall for what it is, and I will be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked if it turns out that Kamala Harris wins it. And this video will not have aged very well. But I just wanted to give a really, really brief overview on it, on my reasons for thinking it, and we'll soon see in a few hours anyway what the result is. But I do think it's going to be a Donald Trump victory, and I do think it's going to be for. I know they were very vague and only very briefly went over each reason, but I do think that for those various reasons, plus many many others that we could spend hours listing off, I do think Donald Trump is going to win. But I'm going to leave it at that anyway. Just like I say, a very very quick video, just to give me opinions, and to everybody in America, stay safe, and I hope it's um, a free and fair election, and I hope the transition of power either way is smooth. So anyway, thank you for your time. Take care and goodbye.